G'day punters, welcome to the Sydney preview show for the time-honoured Bondi. I went back to have a look at the history of this race just prior, and I can happily say that this is the second time this race has been a thing, and so far Kubrick has lived up to the great race by not winning another race since, but he is nominated for Doomben this Saturday, so look forward to seeing how Kubrick goes. But potentially it could be a race that sparks him back into a little bit of form. Mark Shean, welcome to the Sydney preview, the Bondi. Quick thoughts on the card?
Well, I love the Bondi. I've backed every winner at the Bondi so far. Look, there's a couple of thin races, a couple of good races near the death there. So, interesting day. Could be a couple of scratchings. We've got a bit of rain predicted as well. Rail out 4, so we'll just have to see. But rain predicted race morning, I believe.
Yeah, Mark Rhoden, if that rain falls, how much time are you going to be spending actually punting on Saturday as opposed to preparing yourself for the majestic Tigers to do battle with the Cats?
No, I've got to try and get a quid. Well, I'll just play it as it lies. They might get some rain, but they might not get much, and I imagine it's going to be pretty firm to start with, so I'm not going to let that worry me yet. I'll wait for the day to see what happens there. I see we've got another north to northwesterly or something forecast on Saturday, and that's just had no impact last Saturday and had no impact at Kenzo yesterday. So I don't know if they put up a brick wall or something, but that whole fence off with the northeast wind or northerly wind theory seems to be out the window at the moment.
Well, they were straight into their face both days, and leaders were still winning. It was quite surprising there on Wednesday and Saturday, and it was pretty stiff into their face. So, we've thrown that out the window for a while, I suppose.
Yep. Okay. We'll keep an eye on things anyway as the day unfolds. We're going to be previewing race 5 through race 8. So we'll start with the Tats Cup over 2400, the listed race. Up will go the market, and then my speed map, but I must say it's not a overly interesting speed map from that point of view. Mark Shean, I'll start with yourself. Did you have any opinion of any of these runners in race 5?
Well, I would put a blindfold on and get the pin out here. I don't know whose turn it is this week. This is how far I've gone backwards in life. I'm tipping Girl Tuesday. Thought good run 2 starts ago. Took off early in the Metrop, so I'm prepared to give it another chance with National Barrier number 1. But I wouldn't have a bet in this race at gunpoint. 3 from 4 for me, but not betting.
Yeah, it does look a little bit like that. Mark Rhoden, have you managed to find yourself an angle here?
I think I'm going to back Girl Tuesday. Not for a life-changing amount, but I think I have to back it. As Mark said, took off early in the Metrop and fought on quite well in what was a vastly superior race to this. If you want to quantify jockey changes, G-Boss to Henry Willie, you just think of a number and treble it. So it's about as good as they get at the moment, that jockey change. And it's about $6. I think it's, you've got bloody Ducon's favourite, isn't it? It's fair dinkum. I mean, that speaks volumes of the quality of this. So not going to beat myself up if it runs unplaced, but I think I have to have something on Girl Tuesday at around $6.
It was too hard for me. It was too hard, and in the end, I just wrote one word on the sheet and just says no. So no means no. Race 6, we'll move straight along. It is the Bondi, the $1 million race over the mile for the 3-year-olds. Mark Rhoden, you were saying the capacity field is 14 plus emergencies?
Oh no, 18.
18.
So 18 and 4 emergencies they're prepared for, and they've got 10 with $1 million on the table.
Yep, and now, look, we'll start with the obvious in terms of Peltzer and what he was able to do last start. He's got SP over Prime Star. Is it just as simple as that if he gets control of the race, and even if the rain falls, he's produced a good figure on a heavy track? Is it just that simple, Mark Shean?
Well, the rain will certainly help Peltzer probably more than any other runner here, bar Thermosphere if it runs here. It's also in the Moonee Valley, so we don't know where it's going to run. They're probably the better trackers in the race. Prime Star has one on a heavy track, but it was a bad failure on a heavy, but that was a very much rail-dominated meeting that day. So I think he probably gets through it. The fly in the ointment could be Eliza Beale here for Peltzer. They were very negative on her last week. And I don't think from an inside draw that they will be as far back. In fact, I think they'll be rolling forward early. So Peltzer might have to do a little bit more work than he did last start. Look, I'm just going Prime Star because he'd had 3 weeks between runs and was jumping from 12 to 15. Look, he still is a query at 1,600 metres, but I don't think they'll be as negative out of the stalls with him. I think he'd be a little bit closer, and just banking on Eliza Bill just being a little bit more of a pest to Peltzer. I'm going 2 from 1, so prime star for me.
Mark Rhoden, what does the market look like compared with your rated prices at this early stage?
Fairly similar. I've got Peltzer on top at about 330. I'm not petrified of the 1,600. It didn't really look like he was crying out for 1,600 last time, but he's by so you think, and he should get a good enough run in front. I think Eliza Bill will settle forward. I don't think Sparks will be flying, though. Actually, Eliza Bill's one I might be interested in backing. I see it's getting out to around $7 in places. That is nearly good enough to tempt me. She's out of as a Beal mare, so you would think 1,600 would be up her alley, and obviously well documented her bad luck in the race last Saturday. I'll lean Peltzer over Prime Star and Acrophobic out of the Stan Fox. They certainly took ground off him, but they're going to be facing the same task again to a greater or lesser extent. So, I don't know, if I could get better than 350 Peltzer, I might chime in to it, and I might back Eliza Bill anyway, but I'll certainly make up my mind on the day in this case, I think.
Yeah, that's pretty much
right. Do you
right.
think Sorry, Pete. Peltzer beat Eliza Bill quite comprehensively last time they met through the winter in the wet, and I think meets Peltzer worse at the weights as well. So do you think Eliza Bill's improved since then?
I think this prep definitely. And maybe it's a dry track thing, which may or may not come into play on Saturday. But I thought she went really well at Hawkesbury, and then, factoring in the bad luck she had last Saturday, she's gone just as well, I thought. So I think she's definitely improved in her last 2 starts.
Yep, I think that's
whether it's enough to, beat Peltzer is another matter. I certainly have Peltzer top pick, but and I think the 1,600 could actually be what she's been looking for.
Yeah, I've got the same 3 numbers, and again, it's not necessarily a race that I'm too keen to be jumping into at this stage, but it's one that certainly by race 6 on the day, just using the first couple of races on the card just to get the iron, and we'll see what the conditions are throwing up. But certainly it's pretty much pinned down to those couple of chances, as you mentioned, and much the same in terms of pricing as well for myself there. Race 7, the Navision Group 3 for the 4-year-olds and upwards over 1,200. Up will come the market, and then the speed map to follow. Mark Shean, I'll start with yourself here. There's probably quite a few angles that you can attack this race. Was there one of the form lines that you thought was slightly better than the others?
Look, I'm going with Wonderbar here. I never thought I'd be tipping her in a Neverson, but she has been freshened up from her last run in the Tibby, where she'd missed the start and got a lot further back than I thought she would. She didn't have a great deal of luck a couple of runs before that, but she does race very well fresh, and if we do get some rain later in the day, she is very good when there's sting out of the track. So I thought back to 1,200 metres. Got a nice draw there, Barry number 4. A few horses here coming back in distance as well alongside her, but I just thought she mapped quite well, and I thought at around $6 or $7 she represented a good bit of value. Gen Rules, not necessarily probably in her favour to come back in distance, but I thought he was a little bit too negative on her last start when she got back. Wasn't ridden up as she had been at the previous start, just gave away too much start. So I thought it was the main danger. So 6 from 4, which is plenty of angles in the race for sure.
Yeah, exactly right. I was going to have something small and tricky. Gal just at the price. Again, another horse that wasn't necessarily suited last start, has a wet track figure in the past, actually did pretty well, 3rd up there last prep as well. So at the price, I'm just going to have something small on that. Mark Rhoden, have you got anything that you're happy to have a stab at here?
Yeah, I've got a theory on top, and it's just about backable at around 460. No edge there really at that price, so I don't know if I'll back it or not. The thing I like about her is, I mean, she's there on figures for me, and she sort of brings a different strain of form to this race. She beat the males in a benchmark 88 last start. These have sort of been running in the most of these have been running in the feature fillies and mares races so far this spring, which haven't been super high quality, with the exception of some winners like so on. But on Hawkbury on her, of course. I don't think none of these are at that level, and obviously has a great affinity for the Randwick 1200. Won our last 2 starts this track and distance. I think she'll get a reasonable run. And like I say, I don't think the opposition's that strong. Blazing Miss interests me a bit as well. Another one to have beaten the males first up. Out to 1200 now. I just think all those horses that have been racing each other, more or less, like, Positive Peace, Sweat Deal, Evelina General seasons, even, Wonderbar came through the Tiddy, slightly different. But I had a bit of trouble sorting them out, so I'd rather look slightly away from them with the Theory and maybe Blazing Miss. But I found it one of the harder races on the card.
Just quickly on Positive Pace, they in the Stewards report last start, it mentioned that the jockey thought that the horse might have choked down, and here goes the tongue tie on.
Yeah.
How much do you read into that?
Her best would win this, but her best has generally been leading at 1350 to 1550, and she's dropping back pretty sharply to 1200 here. So don't know, do not know.
But her run behind Subpoena was a beauty, wasn't it? When she ran 4, she was badly held up there. But that's the thing; she's got to come back from 16, hasn't she?
Yeah, that's if it was 1400, I'd be pretty keen.
Yeah.
Okay. We'll have a look at the benchmark 88, the 1200 metre race in race 8. Yao Dash has been scratched, so that's going to change a few speed maps and also just add a few deductions into the market. Mark Shean, Hilo, it's caused a few nightmares. Are you sticking with the horse drawn gate 1?
I am. I'm hoping gate 1's okay if we do get some rain. Yao Dash looked to be the fly in the ointment to me doing the form for this race. Didn't look to be a massive amount of speed. With Yao Dash out of the race now, probably in and up or roll forward early. Outrageous might go forward, but certainly from barrier number 1, I would assume that Hilo would race a lot closer than it did, particularly last start, and should be there ready to pounce. So I'll give it one more go, Peter. Thought Superium didn't have a great deal of luck last start in a race that was probably a little too short for him. He is a bit of a horse that is always flashing home and never quite gets the job done. But I think from a soft draw there, he down on the limit or close to the limit, he looked the main danger. But Hilo, the best of the day for me in race number 8.
All right, excellent. I was going to ask if I was truly insane by having Superium on top, but it's one of Rob Scurry's, and I can't wait to see what he says out of the yard because it could be dangerous by this time of day. Mark Rhoden, your thoughts in race 8?
Yeah, I like Hilo, take your pick. I'm pretty keen on it too. I think it's far too close to Pandemic in the early market, considering where they both appear to map. I agree that Hilo he could even be box seat here, or 3 back at worst. And Rachel kind of owes me a good ride out of barrier 1 after what she did on a Theory against this one last time. So we'll leave it up to her. She is going very well, Rachel King, very good jockey. I think, the sort of price you can get is 360. I've got him short on that, so I'll be on. I think Pandemic will appreciate 1200 now, but I can't see how he's not back and wide here.
Yeah.
And unless they're just cartwheeling down the outside fence for seems pretty unlikely. I think he's got a little bit of a task. Superium, I think, probably looking for 1200 too, got a chance. I might save on Bound to Win, who, the way she gave up last time suggests she might have just completely had it. As has been mentioned, there's not going to be much speed here. She should be up on the speed somewhere, and if it's a softer trip and she finds something like her best form, and she's going to be out near 20 to 1, I could contemplate a saver on her, but other than that, no, I'm pretty strong on Hilo.
Okay.
Do you think they'll ride Bound to Win a bit quieter, considering the way she bolted the other day?
You would think so, but I think even if they, unless they totally neck her, I think she's going to find herself up in the first probably 4 to 5 anyway. Because I really struggle to find a leader. There's not an actual.
Yeah, there's no speed there now, is there?
Yeah.
All right. It will cap off what looks an interesting day, as you both alluded to. There are some pretty decent betting races on the card. Mark Shean, you've thrown out Hilo as your best. Do you have anything else on the card that you're looking at this stage?
Yeah, I thought another one of the Godolphins, Destination. Look, race 3 is an interesting race. We've got Destination on the lead and the Bopper dominating the market there. But I just thought Destination had that form around Wild Ruler. Admittedly, on the lead has fairly similar form, but it's had that trial since the run. Looks to map quite well from barrier number 2 to my eye on the lead. Can be a bit dodgy at the start. And I don't know what to make of the Boppers run the other day. He looked very trained up to my eye. It looked like he'd had a couple of runs, actually. So I'm not sure if he's got many runs in him. So I'd rather be on Destination just before they parade and have a look at them anyway. But he's paraded beautifully the last couple of runs. So I think he'll present in good order. And I'd like to see what the Bopper looks like after having a hard run first up.
All right, sounds good. Mark Rhoden, for yourself, any best on the card or anything that you're looking to lay at this stage?
Very similar. I like Destination 2. I like Hilo, as mentioned, and people probably throw things at me, but I think Ice Bath might have finally found her race in the last.
They're all come back to haunt us.
Well, I mean, this isn't much of a race. She's racing Alligator Blood and Flip last time, racing Petronius and Vegas Jewel this time, and 3 kilos off with the informed Tom Sherry. This really could be it for her, I think.
Yeah. Yeah,
D-Day. It's D-Day.
It seems like it's D-Day for quite a few runners there on Saturday. There seems like there's a lot of horses that have been thrown out a few times. We've all backed them, and they finally get their chance to redeem themselves to a certain extent. But we'll wait and see. It's a big weekend coming up. Can't wait for it. We'll talk about it on Monday. All the best to you both. Mark Rhoden, especially to the Tigers. Good luck. Mark Shean, do you have any interest in either of the grand finals coming up?
I'm on Penrith at $7.80, so I've shopped all right. That doesn't mean they'll win, but fingers crossed for the mountain men.
All right. Beautiful. All right, guys, enjoy the weekend, and we'll talk about it on Monday.
Excellent.